you know, don't eat like an asshole to me implies one, just don't overdo it. Like have a donut, but don't be a complete asshole about it. And also it means yes, in especially in the macro space, meaning macronutrients, you can lose weight like I did eating cinnamon toast crunch. The idea of don't eat like an asshole came from my realization that like, hey, while I may be losing weight, this may not be the healthiest decision to only eat cinnamon toast crunch, not eat some fruit, not eat some vegetables.
Yeah, I think, and I'm very happy that they have shifted the or added the nutrition lecture to the level 2, because I think the flavor of that nutrition topic is very good, right? It has very little to do with macros and the science of food or physiology or any of that stuff. And it has a lot to do with, if almost predominantly, with psychology. And again, anybody who's taken any nutrition course worth its salt for the most part understands that the hardest part about getting people to eat better is not teaching them macros, like what is good versus bad. It's just getting them to do it. So when I hear somebody say don't eat like an asshole, I think what kind of pops into my mind is don't make up stupid stuff to justify you eating things, right? You getting a call? Is that from the donut guy? He's making
Did you
delivery?
hear that? Did
Yeah.
you hear that?
No, I just said that because I didn't hear it.
It's yeah.
Yeah.
This day and age when your phone rings, like 18 devices ring.
Yeah, I hate it. So that's what I think about when I say don't eat an asshole. Is like, I don't actually care if people like cheat or do whatever. What I think is silly is people fooling themselves. Like, I would prefer that you're just eating ice cream and be like, this is really bad for me, but it's good. I'll pick it up tomorrow. Like, cool. I think it's a much healthier, realistic place to be. And that's where I recommend everybody get to, is just like, listen, when John Wellborn used to talk in his seminars, when he would, even like the CrossFit football stuff back in the day, he would give this advice. Oh yeah. And he would just be like, listen, best nutrition advice I ever got. Don't be weird. Just don't be weird, right? Just like, if you're going to eat things that are not good for you, just acknowledge that they are not good for you. Don't come up with some weird scenario where like, yeah, well, they're paleo brownies. And I'm like, that is the most asinine statement of all time.
Well,
that's not a thing.
Sherwood used to say that, but I really like what you said. Don't lie to yourself. I think that's a great way to kind of summarize what don't eat like an asshole. It's like, better. Don't make an excuse in your head, like, and I put something up recently of like, I always, there's the correct amount of Oreos is always one more. And you can probably say the same thing about chicken nuggets, and you can say the same thing about it. Yeah. And that's where it's like, when I did macros, people were like, oh, I can lose weight eating Oreos. Absolutely you can. However, you're still going to need to figure out where that cutoff is. There's no magic behind it. And I could have easily gone back into the pantry, open up that box of Oreos, pull out the next sleeve and had another one. One thing I always recommend to people is make the foods that you really want to eat, like Oreos, a little harder to find. In other words, maybe don't put them in the pantry, or maybe put them on the top shelf. So like me, you have to get out the step stool, or put them in your basement. I have a client that keeps some junk food in her car, right? And she has to go outside if she wants to get it. So yeah, don't lie to yourself.